Time now for another In the Legal Know, and joining us in the studio, Vincent J. Russo from the Russo Law Group with a look at fiduciaries. So what they are and what they do.
Okay.
Vincent, it's all yours.
All right.
So tell us about fiduciaries.
Well, I'm going to start with, do you want to know a secret?
Yes.
And the secret is that we all need fiduciaries in our lives and in our estate plan. So let's talk about the definition of a fiduciary. A person or an organization who has the power and obligation to act for another, often called the beneficiary, under circumstances which require total trust, good faith, and honesty. High standards.
So, yeah, I mean, I've heard beneficiary. So a lot of us don't know that fiduciary and beneficiary are the same.
No, not the same.
Oh, okay.
They tie in together.
They tie. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So a fiduciary is a person who's given a job, an obligation to take care of a person or to take care of assets. And so in your estate plan, you have a number of fiduciaries. An executor would be a fiduciary. That's the person in charge of your will. A trustee is a fiduciary, the person in charge of being the trustee of a trust to manage your assets and distribute assets according to the terms of the trust. And then, while you're alive, because often those appointments come in play when you pass away, agents are fiduciaries. And so you say, well, why would I need an agent, right? That sounds like a business situation. But it's not. Durable power of attorney for financial decision making. In case you're not able to make your own decisions, you appoint someone. That is an agent. That person is a fiduciary. And a healthcare proxy. You appoint an agent to make healthcare decisions. And then in your will, if you have a minor child, you want to appoint a guardian to take care of your minor child if something happened to you. That person is a fiduciary. A fiduciary must act in the best interests of the person that they're obligated
Okay,
to.
so we have several different types.
Yes.
Let's go over it again of fiduciaries. You have an executor of estate.
Right. There you go. Executor for beneficiaries. So if you have a will, you need to appoint someone to take charge of your collecting your assets, paying your debts, and distributing the assets to the beneficiaries. That would be your executor.
Okay, let's put that back up again.
Okay.
Can we put that up? Okay,
Sure.
so next was the trustee.
Trustee. So many types of trusts that are available. Revocable living trusts, trusts under a will. And these trusts have different benefits depending on the type of trust. You might set up a trust to save estate taxes or to manage assets for someone who can't manage the assets. So a trustee is working for the beneficiaries.
Okay, and then we go to the agent, which again, I thought a lot of people don't know the term agent, right?
Right.
Or
yeah.
am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay.
You're right. Agent. And so that's the person you're appointing in advance directives, durable power of attorney, and healthcare proxies. And so lots of decisions here. And individuals get hung up. They struggle with the challenge of who to appoint.
Yes.
How do I decide that? You know, what are the tips for selecting a trustee?
Okay, how?
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to let you stop there. So how does somebody
All right.
choose a fiduciary?
Well, characteristic traits that I would point out would be someone who is responsible, someone who is even keel, financially astute, diplomatic, organized. These are all good traits of a fiduciary.
So a fiduciary does not have to be an attorney, just
No.
a family member or
Yes.
loved
Can
one or
be
trusted.
a family member, a friend, or a professional. And there are pros and cons. And I would say one of the tips I would give in terms of estate planning is that many of the people I meet with, they want to name the oldest child as the fiduciary. Or they may prefer to have a male child versus a female child. Or they may decide, I want someone who's locally close to me geographically. That could be a good decision, but it could also be a terrible decision, because we first have to look at what's the objective here. We want the trustworthy person to come in as the fiduciary. What's the job? Well, it depends. Being an executor is very different than making a healthcare decision. If I have a family member who's a nurse, wow, that's a gift, right? But the nurse may not be the best person to be the executor managing assets. So different roles, different family members can serve that particular role. Now, then we have families where maybe we don't have someone who fits the role that we need to fill, or family members don't get along. Well, then you may want to have a professional. Or let's say you have a trust that's going to last for a long, long time for your children and grandchildren. Well, you may not have someone that you can feel comfortable appointing because you typically appoint your peers and they would be too old to be around for 20, 30, 40 or more years. So maybe a professional would be a better choice.
Because, yeah, you know, when you said that sometimes we make the wrong decision because you do tend to go for the oldest in the family. I think a lot of people are doing what you say maybe we need to think twice about.
Right, yeah. So make the decision based on who is the best person to step in, as opposed to just who's the oldest child in my family.
And maybe some advice on who that person, get some legal advice on who would be the best person to appoint, possibly.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And as always, if anybody has any questions, you know, seek a professional because you've got all the answers.
No, we do our best, right? We do our best.
You've got more answers than me, that's for sure, Vincent. So we will hope we know you'll be back later in the month for some more information for us on you know, estate planning and, you know, preparing for the next step.
Yeah, and tax season's coming.
Oh, yikes. Okay, you can come back for that.